Style Podcast. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast, a safe space where we get real and go deep to explore the intersection of modern spirituality, entrepreneurship, identity, and purpose. Hosted by intuitive artist and entrepreneur Daniela West, join us as we explore the transformational journey of becoming more fully you, whole, healed, and human. Hey there, and welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the powerful topic of how to truly feel safe to be seen as our authentic selves. So I wanted to bring in a very special guest expert for you all today to share more on this. Today I'm speaking with Maddalena Rodolfi, a heart-centered somatic body therapist, healer, and dancer, whose mission is to help others connect with their body and soul to unlock their creativity and become their very own healers. So I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Hi, Daniela. I'm so happy to be here. I'm actually super excited.
Me too. I'm so excited to have you just because we've known each other for a few years at this point, and I just know you have so much incredible expertise and perspective to share with us, and I'm really excited to dive into this topic. So now that we have you here today, can you introduce yourself a little bit more to our audience and kind of walk us through your work and how we even got connected in the first place?
Yeah, with pleasure. So I'm a somatic body therapist, and my journey started with a massage training that I took almost 14 years ago in Italy. And one of those things that just happens to you. You're not even sure what you're doing. And while doing it, and it was just for me to get to know myself better, to go through a life crisis, I just discovered how I love the body, how I love to touch the body. And I discovered something that I didn't know about myself, that I was incredibly intuitive and I could feel in my body what the other people were feeling and sensing.
Wow.
And so for me, that was just like a window opening into a new world.
Yeah.
Then ever since I did other courses, I learned more and more about the body, and it became my life passion. It became my work, because before I was doing something totally different. I was a teacher. And it just became my way to express myself in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And funnily enough, when I discovered you, when I discovered your website, I was searching for a way to express and communicate what I was doing, because it was so intuitive for me to do it. And so like when you just do something, it becomes so natural, and it's even hard for you to explain it because it's just so normal for you to do it.
Yeah.
It was really hard to explain to people how I work with the body. And my client would just come through referrals, through friends of friends, because I was living in a small rural area in Italy at the time. So it was just like on personal, person to person level. So I didn't need to explain it or have a website. I didn't even have Instagram. I had nothing.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely nothing. It was just like a friend of a friend and a family. And in Italy how it is. It's all about connections.
Right.
And then I moved to London, and then everything changed. And then I was like, how do I explain this? How do I explain how when I see a person, I don't just see them, I feel them. I can see things. I can see the energy of their body. I can see certain parts that are dark, and I see certain parts that are moving, and I see colors, and I can feel them, and I can feel in my body what they are feeling in physical sensation, where they're contracting, which emotion they're feeling. Like there are so many information that I get from a person when I see them.
Wow.
And when I touch them even more, I was like, how do I explain this?
Yeah, no, it's like what you're describing to me is like this intuitive superpower. You have like X-ray vision, which I've never heard anyone say before. It's really an incredible gift.
Yeah, it is. And And I remember I was like, oh, I need someone to help me explain this. So I was searching. And funnily enough, I put in Google web designer London, and I wrote something like soulful entrepreneur, something like that. So I was like, oh, I need someone that can connect with branding, but also that has a connection with the soul. And your website came up, and I remember I didn't even look like who you were, where you were based. I didn't look, I was just like, she gets me.
Wow.
She knows she is the right person to help me. And I remember seeing it and was like, oh, this woman, she really knows how to help women that have a soul-based business. Honestly, that was my
Wow. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's so incredible. Like, I was a total stranger. And
yes.
also the fact that you were looking for someone in London, but I popped up all the way out in Phoenix, Arizona, which is
Yeah.
kind of funny.
So funny.
It's on.
Don't
It's
ask
on.
me.
I mean, it's almost like our energy just aligned, like through the cyber webs, like a magnet almost. That's what it sounds like. That's it was just like a magnetic. I don't know. I was just drawn to you like a magnet, I guess. But like when you got to my website, what was it that made you feel like this woman gets me? Like as a total stranger.
I remember the sentences that you were writing. Like, I remember it was a lot about not like, you were not trying to sell yourself, but you were seen. I felt seen. And I felt very safe. Like, this woman can see me and can help me show, can help me see how I can show myself while I still feel that I am respecting my needs, because I'm a private person and I don't like to share too much of myself and I don't like to be seen. You know, to a lot of people, I like a handpick the people I surround myself and I need to trust them. So, when then you become public, like through a website or social media, you cannot handpick. And that would make me feel very exposed and unsafe. And so I was like, what do I share of myself and of my work? Because my work is me, so that I can still feel safe, but at the same time, people understand who am I and they understand that they can trust me to work with me. Does it make sense?
Makes complete sense. Yeah. Basically, how do you portray yourself online in a way that feels authentically you,
Yeah.
without revealing too much that you might feel unsafe or uncomfortable, but still wanting people to feel your essence, right? Wanting people to connect with you on a deeper level to the point where they know you're the right person to help them, even when they can't meet you in person.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah. So that's how we got connected, isn't it? You literally just found me from a random Google search.
yeah. And then the journey started.
The journey started. Yes, it did. So, can you walk us through a little bit more about your work and what was this process of sort of creating a brand for yourself, creating a website? Would love to hear a little bit more about your story in terms of what was it that allowed you to feel safer in creating a brand, in being seen, being more visible online to total strangers? I'd love to hear a little more about that journey for you.
It's an interesting story. So it's really interesting because it seems like a mixture of opposites. So I was really sure about my talent. Like, I knew I had a gift, and when you just feel it, and then people always confirm it to you, like, oh my god, like the way you can read my body and see things that no one can see, and you tell me those things that are spot on. Or sometimes I have clients that's like, oh my God, what you told me 2 years ago, you were totally right. At the time, I couldn't understand it, but now I do. And most of the time, like, what did I tell you 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah. Right.
And they remember each single word, and then they tell us like, oh yes, I remember. And she was, and they go like, oh, and you were right, I just couldn't understand it, or I wasn't ready, or it was too much, or and then but they were like, but it was working in me. It was like you planted a seed,
I
and
was
that's it. And that's
just thinking of that. You're planting a seed. Yep.
yeah. And it's funny because most of the time I don't remember, because when I say those things, it's not me. They just come like messages. Then of course I tell them and I see them, but I forgot them. I forgot them straight away, because they are pieces of information that are not important for me to retain, but they are important for them. So I basically, I'm just like I facilitate this that they need to hear, and because they are still not yet in tune with themselves, I'm like a translator from their body back to them.
Wow. So I'm basically hearing you say you are a channel for the messages that
Yes.
someone's soul needs to hear for their growth.
Yeah.
That's
And I
powerful.
see them through their body.
Yeah.
It's like their body, it's like a screen. And I see that.
Wow. I wish I could
Yeah.
see that.
And
I'm like, what is that like? That's amazing.
It comes with a lot of responsibility, and sometimes it's really hard to handle. Like it takes a lot of work to see so much, because sometimes the amount of information that I get are so many that it gets overwhelming. So much so that at some point I got burnout, and I needed to completely change the way I worked and become incredibly centered. Like I had to work for years on becoming as centered as an oak tree.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Especially as an intuitive, as an empath, you're always picking up on signals from other people. You see it, you feel it, even before they can, in many cases, it sounds
Yeah.
like. I'm actually really curious to hear more about that process of like, what did it take specifically for you to learn how to be more solid in your inner foundation? Like, how does somebody turn into this kind of oak tree, as a healer or empath? I'd love to hear more about that process.
Yeah. I can tell you how was the process for me. I don't know if it's the same for all the empaths,
Right.
since so easily overwhelmed and so sensitive.
Right.
For me, it was a very long process. And I think that the first bit was accepting that I was very sensitive and that it was not a curse, but it was just a quality that I had, which was coming with a lot of challenges. And one of those was to stay centered. And then what really, really helped me was to work on the body, because in order to survive to this overload, my way of coping was to disconnect from the body. So I was either freezing or just checking out. So I was not there. My body was here, I was not here. And so it was a long process of becoming acquainted and becoming friend with my body again. So through breath work, movement, bioenergetics, lots and lots of meditation. Like the base of it all for me was meditation. And then a lot of work on the body. But I work on the body, not necessarily of making it stronger or more flexible. Yes, but it was the attention. Like when I was using the body, being present to it, constantly being present to it through the breathing, through paying attention to the movement. So for me, it was a combining the attention that you start bringing into yourself when you learn to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So calming the mind and just like learning to observe yourself and learning to observe yourself while you're moving. So that was for me.
Learning to observe yourself while you're moving. That's interesting. What 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 is the benefit of learning to observe yourself while you're actually moving? Because that's not something I've ever thought of before. I love to practice self-awareness, and I'm constantly, introspecting in terms of what am I thinking at this time? How am I being triggered in certain situations? But I never really thought about that in terms of me in motion. I'd love to hear more about that.
So what I discovered, because I like to move, I
Yeah,
can't.
you're a dancer.
I love to dance. I love to run, to jump. I'm very active.
Mhm.
But I became aware when I started working on myself that I was using movement also as a way to escape. So keeping my body busy in order not to feel, because what I was feeling was too much. And
Mhm.
it was at the same time, it was useful because it was helping me release the excess. But at the same time, because I was not bringing in my presence, I was escaping.
Mm.
And then I was like lost in a loop. So I needed constantly to move in order to release. And I kept avoiding being present. And then when I started working so deeply on myself and bringing in so much meditation and awareness, and especially connecting with the body in a way of this poor body of mine has been coping with everything that has happened so far. And it's holding still to so much trauma and pain that I, the only way I can be present in it is for me to make space so that I can feel that pain and I can feel safe to feel it and let it go and allow myself to process it. So it was like peeling an onion, layer by layer by layer. And it took a while. And then the more I did it, the more I felt lighter and the more I felt I could contain that pain, which doesn't mean repress it, like containing that sense, but contain it in the sense, be a container for it, but an open container. So I could have, because I started putting boundaries. So I started putting boundaries around me. So I didn't need to shut down myself.
Mhm.
And then with those boundaries, which were soft, which kept like moving and changing, then I could contain the emotion instead of spilling them out and let them like explode.
Mhm. Mhm.
And by doing that, what happened is my body became softer and lighter. And then I could just bring in this awareness while I was moving, because then I could be dancing and be totally in it and feel, oh, this is moving. Oh, wow, this movement is making me feel this emotion. But because those emotions were not scary anymore or overwhelming, I could just play along with them and
Wow.
give them space while I was moving. And the same while I was cooking or walking or massaging or doing a workshop, I could be in the movement, so be in the action of doing things, and at the same time be present with myself while I'm doing it. Did I answer?
Yeah. Yeah, you answered. Yes. No, that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful process of it sounds to me that it's really it's really a matter of like learning to just be present with our emotions instead of constantly distracting, through busy work or running around here and there and doing all these errands because we're too afraid to sit and actually recognize what emotions are we are carrying in our bodies at any time. And I think it sounds to me like a process of practicing self-compassion first of all, and realizing,
Yeah.
okay, I do have these difficult emotions running around in my body that are, making me act maybe frantically or, rushing around all the time. And, maybe if I can learn to just sit with them and tell myself it's okay to have these emotions in the first place, and maybe send love to these emotions and find an activity that allows you to physically, you know, allow them to flow through the body so that they can be experienced in a safe way and also released
Yeah.
by you being that safe container for them. Um, that sounds very transformative. It sounds very freeing, actually, what you're describing. Hmm.
Yeah, that's the right word. I was actually thinking now that you were talking, and one of my clients just recently told me that one of the biggest um um how do you say one of the things that he learned that was the most useful for him through the
Mhm.
work that we did together
Mhm.
was he said that he learned how to allow a momentarily discomfort in order to let the pain, the fear, the trauma to be held
Mhm.
while it's being transformed. And he told me, you gave me this safe and loving container
Mm.
where I could lean into while I was feeling all this discomfort and not run away from it. And by being in there, the emotion transformed and changed
Wow. Just
by
by
being there.
being there, just the being present in the container,
Yeah,
in the body.
yeah.
Mm.
Because it's like that's what a metaphor that I always use. Like, imagine that you have a kitten that has been beaten up or abandoned, so it has suffered maybe like cold and hunger. Maybe someone has
Mm.
beaten up the kitten. So what does the kitten do? It hides in a corner. It doesn't come out of maybe from under the bed, and if you come closer it just try to attack you, bite you. And how do? You cannot talk them out from saying, I am safe, don't worry, you can come here, you're gonna be warm from now on, you're gonna be fed, I'm gonna cuddle you. That's gonna like, no, I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. I've been beaten up, suffered. No, 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 no.
Mhm.
And maybe it doesn't even come out to eat, even if that's what he wants, even if food is there because it doesn't feel safe. And what changes that you constantly show up.
Mm.
You constantly show up and you constantly show the kitten that the food is there and there's fresh food every day and there's water every day and it can take all the time that it wants and it's going to be warm. Does it make sense? So
Mhm.
basically, we do the same with ourselves. We
Mm.
constantly show up and we stay with this uncomfortable emotion, with this uncomfortable sensation, and we breathe in it and we stay in it and we try to soften up and we constantly show up until some point that part that is so scared start like doing, okay, I can trust this guy. I
Little
can
by little.
trust this person. Little by little, and at some point you just can feel it. Phew. So maybe the tension that you always felt in the chest starts softening up, and at some point you just feel that you can take a deep breath. Or maybe that pain that you constantly have in the neck, at some point it's not there all the time. It's just there when you're very, very stressed, but most of the time it's not there anymore. Well, before it was just like constant.
Mhm.
And you just can see the changes. Or maybe at some point you just realize, oh my God, look at my face. I'm so beautiful today. Like all of a sudden, you just notice something changing. Or like, oh wow, my hair.
Mm. Oh, that's beautiful. It's like through this process of learning to be present with your emotions, understanding that your body can be that safe container to feel the emotions, let them flow through you, let them be released in your own time, in your own way. Um, and through doing that, it sounds like it's helping someone to feel safer to actually be seen as their true selves, is what I'm hearing. I'd love to
Yeah.
I'd love to hear for you specifically too. How has the work that you do, um, allowed you to feel safer to be safer to be seen in the online space, especially because I know that was a big struggle for you when we first met also.
Yeah. Um, well, there was a lot of I need to meditate before I post this, or oh my God, I need to do this part of the website. What am I gonna write? And it was really funny because I was using the somatic practices, the breath work, the meditation that I would offer my clients as tools to navigate through their life challenges for this challenge of mine. So
Ah.
okay, I need to sit here and I really need to fill in this part. I need to talk about this. It's just like, okay, let's do it like 5 minutes practices before, then I'm gonna sit. And then I could feel my body like tensing up and telling me, no, what are you writing? Who do you think you are? That's a fraud. You don't know this stuff. And I was like, that's okay. Just breathe. We can just write it down and then we can go over it. Constantly, calm myself, use very kind self-talk. And then whenever the either the procrastination would kick in or the harsh judge would kick in, then I would go into the physical practices. So maybe I would dance a little bit in the house. I would do some breath work. And then I would bring myself back to the computer and start writing. And I just kept doing it, alternating. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, no, that's such a powerful process, the idea of really bringing the body into the act of branding yourself, into the act of creating an online presence. It's almost like through the body you've been able to find ways to coach yourself through the process of letting yourself be seen, overcoming imposter syndrome. That's actually a very powerful process. I'm impressed to hear about it because
Yeah.
I had never thought of that approach in terms of really bringing the body into my own self empowerment journey, to help me overcome resistance that comes up in the body when I am doing things outside of my comfort zone, things that relate to being seen, showing up in this new way, like maybe doing a podcast or like a live workshop, things that do require us to step up more as leaders, step into the spotlight more. I really love this idea of bringing the body in, to release that kind of tension and resistance and just be like, it's okay. You've got this, girl. I love you. Just flow through it.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like this journey has been for you so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's been like a journey of the opposite because the body was such a place of pain and fear for me. And then it has become like my greatest ally. So it's just like, it's been like
Wow.
a twist.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was really funny because I was having so many symptoms and ailments due to my sensitivity and the fact that no one ever navigated me through those. So I constantly felt like I'm overreacting, I'm hysterical, I'm angry, lots of judgment, or I'm too much of this and I shouldn't, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I started realizing maybe there's nothing wrong with me, maybe I just don't know how to interpret all the feelings that I have, and realizing, oh, but then not everyone feels all the things, not everyone sees all that I see. And then somehow when I started to navigate that, I was like, oh, this poor body, because I was very angry with my body. Oh, why do I have these constant migraines and stomach pain? And why can't I sleep at night? When I'm constantly having panic attacks, you start feeling like, oh, my body's failing me. Why can't I just live like the others? So there's a lot of judgment. And then through the process, I realized, wow, actually, the body was doing great, considered under how much stress it was and how difficult it was to cope, because I never developed like maybe like a more serious disease or injury. I could have gone much worse. I was like, actually, all considered, it did very well. And it gave me such strong signals that I couldn't ignore and that I chose not to ignore, that then it took me on the right path. So somehow it's like my body was screaming and telling me, not that way, this way. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening now.
Oh my gosh, I've experienced something very similar. That's so funny that you say that. Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people listening in our audience right now that may also relate to being empathic and very sensitive and, maybe easily overwhelmed by their environment or by energies around them. I discovered, my sensitivity a few years ago through the hard way, what you're describing, through my body language, through getting sick, through chronic illnesses, or chronic pain in the body, and getting so frustrated, that nothing physical I was doing was really helping. But I wasn't taking the time to really kind of look at my life from a bird's eye view and recognize, like, yeah, you're getting headaches because you're staring at the computer screen 12 hours a day, or you're trying to push through and overwork yourself, and you're ignoring the signals in your body, or maybe you're putting yourself in a toxic environment or a toxic connection, that is draining your energy consistently, and continuing to ignore those signs in your body. So I just think that's a really interesting point about learning how to recognize your own sensitivity as a gift, but also something that does require special care and special tools that they're personal. There's many different tools out there to protect that kind of sensitivity or energy. But I think it is a powerful point to make in in the way that being seen does require learning how to feel safe in the body. Showing up as our true selves really can only happen when we're deeply rooted in the body, from a place of safety, of protecting our energy, of understanding the unique gifts that we bring to the table. And I think that's something that meeting you and working with you has actually really helped me discover. Um, to be honest, we've done some body sessions together, in the past, and it was just incredibly helpful because I knew that I was an empath. I probably discovered this maybe in the last 5 years, but the way I was approaching navigating the world as an empath is very much from the head, from the mental space. Like, I I had a lot of information about being an empath or being intuitive. I had knowledge, but I didn't understand how to actually access that sensitivity from within the body. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. Is this
Yeah.
something that you've heard from other people or other clients you've worked with?
Yeah, more than heard, I've seen it.
Mm.
Because maybe you've experienced the same, like, because they knew so much about what it means to be an empath or highly sensitive,
Mhm.
they thought they had um experienced all um how to say all nuances of it.
Uh-huh.
But actually they didn't. They just knew it on a mind level, but they didn't feel it. They didn't go into the depth of it. They
Yes.
didn't really touch the mm, the incredible power of their gift, and at the same time the incredible challenges that it brings, because there's so much pain that gets activated when, as an empath, or highly sensitive people, we haven't been taught what it means when, life gets at you and you feel everything so much, or you feel other people's pain and you don't know how to release it, and you just keep storing it in the body.
Yeah.
And so at some point you're like, oh, I'm highly sensitive, so that's why I feel this, I feel that, but then you don't allow yourself to really feel it and process it because it's so much. And it can feel overwhelming even to do the work to unlock it. So it's really important for you to feel safe, otherwise you don't do it.
That is such a good point. That's what I experienced coming to you for sessions in the past. I came to you from a place of major unsafety. I had experienced kind of definitely a traumatic event from my physical environment from another person. And I came to you, and I think when we started sessions, I was very numb in my own body. It surprised me. You would guide me through certain movements, like even something so simple as like, okay, just notice your legs, like place your hands on your legs. And I would do that and I wouldn't feel anything at first. And I realized, like, oh my God, I don't take the time to actually tune in to specific parts of my body and kind of just check in on them. Like, are you okay, legs? How are you feeling? Like, are we connected? Are we connected right now? And I was really shocked to find that no. And even more than that, it had probably been years since I even consciously felt connected to my own legs.
Yeah.
Like, I had gone years without ever thinking about them as a part of my body, which really surprised me. So just working with you and learning about sort of like this mind-body connection was very new and unfamiliar to me. And it helped me realize how I do store like blockages within my body that are actually really holding me back from experiencing pleasure and joy and more of the positive emotions. I think that I numbed myself in different parts of the body for a long time because I was afraid to feel those painful feelings. But in doing that, I was also blocking myself from the opposite spectrum of those feelings. So I just wanted to thank you because through working together, it has helped me unlock things that I had no idea were so locked inside of me. And it's an ongoing journey. It's not like a one and done thing. Like, I'm completely free and at my highest potential now after 5 minutes. But it is kind of an awakening process to go on that journey with somebody like you, to get more in touch with the body and understand how every piece of ourselves is connected one way or another. Um, so it's kind of a relief just to say that.
Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. And I have a question actually.
Yeah.
For you. How do you feel that through recognizing how disconnected you were from the body and slowly coming back into feeling again safe into your body through the practice in the exercises, how did this have an impact on your work? How did this impact the way you work? Because I remember when I met you, when I discovered your work, my first impression was like, oh my God, she's so tuned in and she can really know what a entrepreneur needs, especially if it's a woman, especially if there's a lot of sensitive, or especially if someone is doing someone's kind of work that is like a soul calling. So I could feel how intuitive you were. And I would like to know how the work that we did together like made you change or improve, or where did it bring in your work?
Oh, I love that question. That's a great question. I would say um, from the beginning, I've always had the gift of seeing others clearly. I've always been able to see other people's, I would say, other people's soul, their true nature, their who they are at their fullest potential. I've always had that gift to see others clearly, like much clearer than they can see themselves. And um, I think as a human design projector, I think that's a really big part of having that gift. But what I couldn't see was myself. That was a really big piece of it. I was so focused on other people, clients I would serve, putting them in the spotlight and empowering them and helping them feel so seen because that's so natural to me. But in the process, I was completely hiding behind that. And I think I wasn't even connected to or willing to see me and my gifts and what I have to offer the world. And it actually held me back a lot because I didn't feel safe to be seen before our work together. I was so focused on helping others feel safe to be seen. But when it came to me, for some reason, I was like, oh, that's not as important. Like, it's all about them. And I think they're working together and getting more connected with my own body. It has allowed me to create a container, like realize my body is a container. It is a place where I can build safety from within without relying on things outside of myself, like wherever I am in the world or whoever I'm connected with around me, whatever's going on, I can now feel more rooted in myself. I now have so much more self trust because I can recognize, okay, this feeling is going on in my body, like my chest is tightening, or my root chakra is like very constricted and it's talking to me. I can literally recognize now when certain body parts or chakras are actually speaking to me through discomfort. And instead of ignoring that or trying to push through it, I've been taking a lot more time to be still and listen to my own body. And that's actually been connecting me so much more to my intuition, my inner voice. Um, it's been it's been so much more talkative, actually. Like in the last year, I've opened up so much more to my inner voice and my inner knowing, and I understand when I'm receiving clear messages from my higher self, from my intuition. And it's really been allowing me to navigate the world now with so much more confidence and so much more clarity in who I am. Why am I here? What's my purpose? What are the gifts that I have to offer? What makes me different? What makes me uniquely positioned to serve this unique collective of spiritual entrepreneurs? Like, why me? And it's really empowered me to see myself, you know, in a way that I was never able to see myself before because I was never taught that it's okay to see yourself and validate yourself and trust yourself. It's more than okay. It's probably the greatest gift you could ever give to yourself. It's the greatest gift you could ever learn is how to see yourself. I really believe that. And once that kind of locks in and you really do start to see yourself and look in the mirror and be like, girl, you are a superstar. Like, who is that? Oh my God. I literally say that to myself now. Like, girl, you're a star. Like,
Yeah.
go out and shine.
Yeah.
And at first I didn't fully believe it, but after doing this for the last year or so, it really does get ingrained. And I can look at myself and I see it now. And it's it's becoming reflected back to me in what others tell me or how others treat me or respond to me now. And it's amazing.
Yeah. Did you
It's
notice? Did you
yeah.
notice it? You changed something in your posture because
Oh, did
that's
I?
huh?
Did I?
No, did you notice it? Because that's
Um,
something that I always notice in my clients. Once they
mm,
start feeling more connected, their posture all of a sudden start changing and they're more
they
open.
sit up.
Yeah,
Mm,
not necessarily, but like there's just like more an opening, so there's like the body is softer, so they're not constantly in the same position, even if they still go there.
yeah.
So sometimes people tell you, "Oh, you look taller." Did they tell
Mhm.
you that? I don't know, because sometimes it's like, "Yeah, they keep telling me that I'm taller, but I'm always the same."
That's so amazing. It's such an energetic shift, and then you see the energy changing the actual body or the actual appearance. Like it really does shift from the inside out
Yeah.
through this work. That's really beautiful. Wow, that's powerful. Some
Yeah,
powerful shifts.
it
Uh,
is.
what a journey it's been, hasn't it?
My God. And I was thinking how beautiful it is to be seen and to find someone that can hold space for you while you show yourself, because that's what I had with you
Mm,
while I started this journey on making myself available online. It was incredibly scary for me. And somehow your website template and your suggestion
mm,
broke it down in pieces that made it available for me and made it safe for me to say, okay, I can do this step,
mm,
can do this step, and then somehow every step was doable and it didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna be there on the internet, everyone is gonna watch me and they're gonna see all my flows and that I'm not doing a great job and I don't even know how to explain it. And it just felt like, yeah, you just do this and then it's okay. You can always work on it and it
mhm,
doesn't have to be perfect. And but at the same time with the an attention to the detail, which I really liked. And
mm,
for me it's really important. I like beauty and I like colors and I like things to be done in a certain way, but then at the same time I get lost because I want it perfect.
mhm,
And somehow for me you manage to combine both,
mhm,
give space to the beauty. So okay, it's not just, it just needs to be efficient and you just need to make it work, doesn't matter how it is. So you brought in this feminine side that for me was really important, with at the same time the practical part of, okay, let's just not get lost in the fact that it needs to be perfect and all shiny and beautiful 100%. It can be beautiful 70%, 60%, and then we work with the rest bit by bit. That for me was the key, like, because I had my time. I think it took me almost 2 years to do it.
DIY process. I know it's different for everybody. Yeah.
But it was so transformative because every bit of that just helped me understand better my work, help
Mm,
me help me make it more understandable for my clients. So yes, it took 2 years, and if I'd paid you to do it for me, it would have taken 6 months or three, but I would have missed the process,
ah,
which for me was really important because I grew with it. So,
wow.
so thank you. That is my way.
Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. And honestly, for me as a designer, it's been so amazing to see your journey. You know, as you did buy a website template from me, and you went on your DIY journey. You know, to really understand, like, who are you at your core. First of all, I think what I'm hearing is it was a big self discovery journey for you as you went through every little piece of not just building a website, but discovering who are you
Yeah.
as a brand overall. You're not just a freelancer, having a client here or there. Like this is your brand, your personal brand.
Yeah.
basically a vehicle through which you get to live out your purpose,
Yeah.
which is such a beautiful thing. So I'm so glad to hear it's been such a great exploratory self-discovery process for you, because how are you feeling now that the website's launched?
Oh my God, so proud. Like a proud mother.
Oh,
Honestly, that's my baby. Now it's becoming a teenager, but I'm so proud.
and I'm so proud too. I'll be like your fairy design witch, your fairy godmother. I'm so proud too.
Yeah, you're my fairy web design godmother.
Love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, this conversation has been so amazing. So many beautiful, juicy nuggets of wisdom, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that we got to do this today. I think I just have one more question for you. Um, for any listeners out there right now who are feeling, how you and I have felt in the past throughout our own evolution and building a brand, there have been moments where, at least for me, I've felt stuck. I've felt imposter syndrome. I felt insecure, terrified to get out of my comfort zone and let myself be seen in a new, expanded way. So, for anyone who's maybe feeling that, feeling stuck, I'm wondering what kind of advice would you offer them to help them move forward?
That's a very good question. The first thing I would say is take a deep breath
Mm.
and just make a movement with the body. Any part of the body that while you're breathing just wants to be moved. And you just let it move. And just doing that, and you'll do it maybe for 10, 15 breaths. So with every breath, you allow a part of the body that wants to move. And maybe it's like, oh, the shoulder. Well, maybe they want to move like this. Oh, and maybe the neck. And you pay attention to every movement. So you just choose one part of the body of all those that wants to be moved, and you just move one at a time. And you breathe in it while you do the movement. And this is like the simplest of the practices, but it starts bringing us in the body with the breathing and while moving. And you'll see, like, when you start doing it, all of a sudden the mind becomes quiet. We start breathing more, we start softening up, and then somehow the space starts opening up in our brain, in our head, in our body. We breathe more, and then our comfort zone, our zone that we feel safe in, it starts to expand, but it expands from within. It's not broken from the outside where something like forces you out of it. It's just like, hey, you know what, I want to make it a little bit bigger. And then when we make it a little bit bigger, then there's more space for things to come in because the space is wider.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful. I took a nice deep breath and moved my body while you were describing that, and that felt great. Thank you. No, that's really amazing advice. So, how can people get in touch with you after this incredible, amazing conversation? Where can they find you? And do you have any current offerings, any current services, freebies, anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, through my website, of course,
Yeah.
MaddalenaRodolfi.com,
Mm.
and through my Instagram. And yes, actually, I have a couple of offering happening at the moment, which I thought precisely for those people that don't know me and that would like to experience working with me. Because at the moment, I mainly work one-on-one with, I call them journeys. So at least 6 weeks journeys where people can really feel the shift through those journeys. And then normally people work with me for a longer period of times, like maybe 2 3 months or longer, depending. And then I thought, oh, but maybe someone is not yet ready to commit to such a long journey, but they still want to try and see how I work. And so I've started doing online workshop, couple of hours long. So there's one coming up actually tomorrow.
Oh,
And gonna be in English, and then there's gonna be next week in Italian.
amazing. So tomorrow would be Wednesday,
Fifth.
February 5th, right?
Yeah, at 6:30 p.m. UK time.
Okay.
And you can find the link on my Instagram, on my website. And then there's gonna be repeated. So I'm gonna do one each month. So whoever misses it, you can come in next month or the following one. And this is a very nice way to kind of like feel how it goes. It's an hour and a half long. And you get to experience a little bit of all the technique and tools that I use, meet other people. Some of them are my long-term clients, so they're very familiar with the way I work. So it's a very relaxed environment. And then of course I'm doing workshop in person in London. If someone is around, please join me. And there are going to be some new dates coming up soon. So they're going to probably be in April and in May. And then there's going to be the membership, the other new part of the website that is almost ready.
Ooh, tell us about it.
So this has been my work for the last few months. So this is another part of my website story. And I just felt that I wanted to create more of a community because I have this, honestly, probably everyone says so, but I think that my clients are amazing. I think they are such courageous soul. And with each one of them, doesn't matter how long the journey is. Some work with me for 3 years and some for 3 months and some for just 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But each one brings so much. And it's just so beautiful to see them changing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just stay as long-term family members, Sometimes people work with me for a little bit, then they disappear for 2 years, and then they come back. And then maybe they are ready for a longer and deeper journey. And so we dive in again, and then maybe they go off again on their journey, and then maybe they come back for maybe just a month of session just to kind of like understand where they are. And it's just beautiful. And I feel like a hostess, like I'm like the guest, and they come into my house, and the website for me now, it's like my house. And so people can come in and so the membership, I wanted a place where people can feel the connection all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And especially what was most important for me is that they could meet with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Are like minded, soul-minded, and they can create new connections.
Mm-hmm.
They can feel they're not the only one going through this journey. They can relate to other people that have gone through a similar path. So it's gonna be it will be like one online event per month, of an hour and a half, where we're going to do somatic practices, breathwork, meditation, some dance. And then there will be a Q&A part where people can ask me anything, so maybe they can start having some answers to their questions. And then the beauty of it is that maybe my question then answer to someone else's question, and
Mm-hmm.
and then there's going to be a part with somatic practices that is going to be like 10 minutes, somatic practices each month that a person can use it to integrate into their everyday life, so that they can start building up new tools, that then they can see how these 10 minutes a day can really shift a lot.
Beautiful.
Even just 10 minutes a day. And then there is the last bit of it is going to be one, I called it creative care page per month, where again, I combine creativity and somatic practices and movement so that the person can explore the creative part of itself through movement, through art, through meditation. And it's just like a suggestion, like, okay, this is the activity of the month. You can do it at any time. You can do it every day and see what part of you it brings up.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And let me just say, one thing I've come to realize about communities is they tend to reflect whoever's created the community. So if you are vibing with my dear friend Mata, if you're vibing with her, you're probably, I can guarantee you'll love this community. Actually, if you love Meta, you'll love the community. So I think I think it's incredible. You've got this membership now and a place for people to come together and a place for people to feel at home. I think that's so important, especially in today's wild, wild world. So, yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop all the links below in the description so everybody can find you. And thank you so much for this incredible podcast today. It's such a great episode. Loved it. Loved every minute.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you for your space, for holding space so beautifully. And it was really an honor. And I'm still so excited as I was at the beginning. I'm just like, all my body is like bubbling. Like, oh, happy.
I got all the good vibes. Take care, Mata. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot to help grow the channel and impact more beautiful souls like you. And remember, keep flowing and growing, my friend. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.